No, I
on
just
this
wanted
computer.
to, I just
Yep.
wanted to know, so everyone here is a wellness coach, huh? Health and wellness coach.
Yes. Everybody here is a health and wellness coach. And there are a few other people that will be coming on the call, probably during this session, that are also health and wellness coaches. Here comes Hanai. She's a health and wellness coach. We did have, interesting, Adavi, we had someone join us one week who met me through the International Coaching Federation. And he was not a health and wellness coach. And he left us because the subject, I'm not teaching health and wellness coaching, as you gathered from the first 3 sessions. This is really for people that are already familiar with health and wellness coaching. Hey, Hanai, welcome. Welcome, Nicole.
Hi, nice to see new people.
Yeah, of course, always new people. And there are a couple of others that'll be joining us. And we've got the whole globe once again, which I just absolutely love. Okay, guys, so we're going to get started. I'm just going to move my little control panel down to the bottom of my screen so I can see your beautiful faces and what we're going to do today. So this is week 4, proposals, pricing, options, and rollout. Week 1, you can share any of these with anybody. All of these courses are free of charge, and anything I give you today, share with any of your friends, use for yourself, play with it. We're going to go through that. I will show you what we're going to be talking about today. Today, we're going to discover how to find clients. What is that? That's great, right? I added this, Ellen. This is so useful. We're going to discuss pricing, which again is so useful because you can get coaches for free or $1,000 an hour. And it's just, we don't know where we have to fit there, especially when we're working in corporate. I'm going to share with you templates. I've created proposals on Word documents and on PowerPoint. In terms of the Word documents, I have created a proposal for week 1, week 2, and week 3 combined. It's what I call the signature program. The reason I did that one is then if you guys just want to propose one, you can just cut it out. You can play with it. We're going to walk through it. You can see how you can play with it. It's a Word document. And I'll be giving it to you as a Word document, not as a PDF. So you can just take it and run with it. There's also an individual coaching proposal. And the reason for this is, I'm sure, Madame, you've had this experience, as have you, Sotiris. You give a workplace program to 20 people or 30 people, and one person wants to do one-on-one coaching. So if before you actually give that session, you propose to the employer the option of one-on-one coaching, I think it's really useful to have that proposal. For any of you who have already done this, you can just compare it with your own and see what might be there or not there. So that's just useful. So giving you those templates, we're going to look at the business case for workplace well-being. Again, I'm not going to do a deep dive. I'm going to give you the slides so that if you need to go into a workplace, again, I'm looking at my Davi because I know that it's something you've done and you might want to do. You've got the business case. You don't have to recreate the wheel. I've done the research. So you've got the slides, take what you want, use what you want to give to the CEO or the head of HR, whoever you're speaking with. So you don't have to rework it again. Then we're going to discuss options for delivery and moving forward. I want to review the disclaimer that I will ask you to sign if you choose to go on and use my materials, which is up to you completely at this point. And then we have questions and discussion. Are we good with that? So far, so good? Let's find clients. Let's start there. So the idea of finding clients is to keep the clients you have and keep growing your network. So the first thing that I talk a lot about and I really believe in is niching your business. I appreciated your question earlier, Madavi. Are you all health and wellness coaches? That already niches us a little bit. You may be able to niche further after this session, meaning maybe you can niche into workplace wellness, health and wellness coaching, okay? Welcome, Rafaela. She's just coming on. So finding your niche, and I want to come back to talking about that in just a minute and ask if you all are comfortable with your niche. The next thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of finding clients is networking, investing in your credibility. The reason I'm going to be handing over some of the slides to you and the business case is so that you can be credible. It's really important as a coach to be credible to create and find your clients. Using LinkedIn is a fabulous way to find clients. Resharing articles, other posts. I create a lot of articles. I put some here that you guys can repost. Creating a newsletter, commenting, liking, and sharing on LinkedIn. And what I've done here is I've shared 3 articles that I wrote. Again, don't click through them now, but later on you can click through them. Why health coaching should be a part of every workplace well-being strategy for 22 more than ever. Want to grow your tribe, try shifting from pushy to cushy, and why 2020 may be the perfect year to finally partner with a health coach. So at this point, I just want to open up and ask you all, how do you find your clients? Either in the chat or just open up your mic. Welcome, Rafaela. Where are you coming in from, Rafaela, by the way?
Right now, I'm calling from Italy.
Wonderful. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm based in Switzerland, actually.
Sorry?
I'm based in Switzerland, but I am Italian, and right now I'm in Italy.
Oh, where are you based in Switzerland? So am I.
In Geneva.
So am I.
Wonderful.
I can't believe that. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I'm actually between Geneva and Lyon.
Wonderful. Maybe one day we have the chance to meet in person. Would be lovely.
We definitely should. What is your last name? Because I will link into you for sure.
Yeah, I will tell you as it's a recording.
Great.
I will reach out to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Good thinking. Good thinking. So how do you find clients, Kathy?
So far, I've been leveraging my network.
People you know.
People I know, and so a couple of people have referred people to me. And I think I've had some people that follow me on LinkedIn. They're not visible to me, but they'll come forward that way. I had one person who said they were watching me on LinkedIn and then visited my website and then contacted me. But it's really the network that I grew when I was in my corporate career. And so
Tell me, Kathy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
actually,
technically, I'm not a health and wellness coach.
Oh, that's true. Technically, you're a
right.
business coach,
Well,
executive coach.
I basically call myself a life coach.
Yeah, or a life coach.
But I focus in on people that want to make change. So that could be in any aspect of their life. So I do have people working on wellness, and I just love this content, you know. And so really, I've been using my network, and I plan to continue to use my network and expand my network, to your point. And that's sort of the next phase I'm moving into right now.
So I have a question for you, Kathy, and I think it's worth sharing with some of the other people on the call. When you talk about your network, is it the people you know directly that are asking for coaching from you, or is it like second level? In other words, is the people you know that actually recommend someone and they send you someone?
I have a bit of both. So I have some people that knew me, and then I have other people that either got coached by me or knew me, and then they referred people to me.
Okay, good to hear.
And the way I started that was I just took my LinkedIn, everybody that I was connected to, and I just went through that whole list, and I just took every name where I felt like I had made some sort of connection with that person at some point over the years. And I took like that first 50 or so, and I sent all of them the same offer letter when I was starting my business. And I got response from that, and then it just kind of grew from there.
Fabulous. And that is a great idea for anybody on this call with any of the content you'll be walking away with today. You can take bits of the content and sort of launch yourself and say, hey, I've got a new offering now, and then take a bit of the business case, take the bits and pieces, send out an email, and publish the same thing on LinkedIn. It is a wonderful way to grow your community. Ellen, I saw that. Thank you very much for sharing, Kathy. Super useful. Ellen, I saw that your mic was opened as well. How do you find clients?
Very similar to Kathy, and I also find conferences is something I'm exploring a little bit more as I'm doing more speaking engagements and just trying to, sort that piece out. So I'll do a speaking engagement, and then I'll do an exclusive page on the website for that speaking engagement, and then just provide them like with some resources that linked the content, and then perhaps opportunity to continue the journey if they're interested.
And tell me, Hélène, how do you find the conferences? I'm asking the questions I think everybody has.
Yeah, so for me, it's linked to my niche. So my niche is in healthcare and teaching a coach approach to healthcare professionals. So I started first with my background is occupational therapy. So just started with targeting that first, and in Canada, where I am now, the States, exploring Australia next. And so just going about it that way, and we're kinesiology as well, because I have a background in there. So I think I'm just starting with my inner circle, if that makes sense. Like I'm looking at my educational background, my network, and where I feel most comfortable, and then where I could make the most impact as well with the content that I have. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. And again, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but there are a couple messages that I've brought together, and then we're going to see if anybody has a comment, and then we'll move on. One of the things that everybody said is, it's my network, the people like me, they either do what I do, they work where I worked, or they were a client for some other reason. So these are people that already know and love me. That is obviously the first place to look. What I'd like you all to think about is who is on the upside and the downside of those people. So let me explain. In the case of Hélène, who is an occupational therapist, she's working with patients. They're actually patients. So maybe doctors are on one side of her equation. Hannah, you might find the same. Doctors might be able to recommend them to you because the doctor saw them before you do. They're on the downside of your niche. And then you've got the upside, like where might they go next? So in Hélène's case, think about this, she's getting people back to the workplace. So maybe Hélène can find people in the workplace like HR, maybe there's a medical services or benefits. Maybe that's her target. So it's not only the person you're coaching, but Hélène will niche to the up and the down, the before and after her service. Does that make sense to everybody? And would anybody have anything they'd like to add to this Find Your Client, the very beginning of our conversation today?
Yeah, I think Ellen's comment about speaking is really great. And I saw this content as helping me to be able to engage on this topic. And I thought of a group who had invited me into their professional women's network. And
Wonderful.
I had spoken to them when I was working in the same company a couple of times, but on different topics. And, you know, I was thinking I could go back to that group as an example because they know me and say, hey, I could offer this for free.
Perfect.
Because that would allow me to practice.
Yep.
And they get something for free. And then they also know that I'm a coach. And
exactly. Your call to action is a free call.
Yeah. They could hire me individually, or they might say, hey, let's do something as a group. And
totally.
I could explore that way.
I'm so glad to hear that, Kathy. And we're going to be seeing that in a few minutes. I will move on, and we're going to be seeing that. One of the options of delivery, and this is probably what I've delivered the most, is taking these you've had it in 3 1-hour webinars. I condense all the information into a 45-minute awareness session. And I talk about nutrition for 15 minutes, activity for 15 minutes, and sleep for 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes each, 12 minutes each. And I have a little interaction in the chat, and then calls to action to one-on-one coach with me. That's a great way to deliver this material. And then you can use the other slides and data and material as you coach the person, as handouts and things like that. So we'll explore that, but thanks, Kathy, super, super interesting. Before we close the bit on finding clients, are there any burning questions or anything else? I just wanted to get you guys nudged toward this, thinking about your future client. Okay, the only thing I would add is most likely, If you're wanting to work in the workplace, which was the idea of WealthyU, not only, but it is one of the ideas, LinkedIn is where people hang out. It's not Instagram, it's not Facebook. That does not mean you should not be there, but the workplace audience in principle hangs out on LinkedIn. Most of us use all three platforms or two platforms, but that is one of the places most people hang out. Okay, pricing. This is the interesting one. Pricing, clearly, pricing is country specific, experience specific, client specific. Avoid hourly rates. Think packages. Think of a signature program. That's exactly why I've delivered it to you like this. Rather than a little one-off random workshop, offer all three. Give them a taste in an awareness session and then roll it out into a program. Much more interesting for you. And when you do that, Kathy, you can actually do that awareness session pro bono. And I would highly recommend everybody do that. In fact, I even talk about it in the next slide. Think about the impact, what you are giving to people. And this is what I've written into the proposals. Hopefully you'll all see that in a minute. Think big picture. Don't think one-off. Think, okay, I want to give them 4 months of webinars and then one-on-one coaching to give them a year of well-being. Think big, think big. The client will not think big. They want to solve an immediate solution. But when you come in with a global solution, you can save them a lot of time. Always include options on your offerings. Think about charging for your availability and accessibility. This is something I've just added to my VIP program, you guys, and I think it's super interesting. My VIP clients, they get 5 red light calls a year, which means they can call me when they have a nervous moment, a difficult moment, and I've got to be available for them. 5 times a year, they get that. And they pay for that kind of service. So think about what you can include in your offer. Obviously, not many call me on it, but thinking about what you can offer in terms of availability that doesn't completely ruin your lifestyle, but that people will pay for, your availability. And be ready to negotiate prices with corporations. All right, pricing resources. I am giving you 3 excellent studies. The one of them, the first, these are all going to be hyperlinks, and you'll be sending you all these slides. You can just click through and find them. One of them is a facilitator pricing study. And when I show you the prices that I'm ballparking, that's where I got a lot of these from. It was done last year, and it's a global study on what a facilitator is charging online, on-site, and the number of years experience. Super valuable. I think I already shared it with you once, Ellen, correct? Yeah, it was really, really useful. There's another one by Harvard Business Review, a short guide to pricing your services as a consultant or a coach, and 14 strategies for setting your coaching prices. Those strategies, I've kind of talked through some of them, but if you want a little bit more of a deep dive, you can go there. So pricing, pro bono, we talked about it. That's offering something for free, a little taste, a little sampling, but be prepared. Have that big package with lots of options behind you when you do pro bono. Don't ever do pro bono without the package pre-prepared. Ever, 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 ever. You're really losing an opportunity if you do that. So the prices, if you were to bring it down to an hour, it's going to be between $150 to $350 an hour for one-on-one coaching. Again, this is country specific, but less and less country specific because we're working all over the world. This is going to be highly experienced. The higher you are accredited, the closer to 350 you will be. And the less accredited you are, the closer to 150 you will be. That gives you a range. A 1-hour corporate awareness session, when I give a 1 hour, I charge $1,500. Clearly, if I package the 3, like the 3 weeks, I would package it and then I would give a bit of a rebate. So it would be maybe $5,500. But it could be as low as $500 for a 1-hour session. Okay, corporates are ready to pay that for the most part. A 4-week, 1-hour program, again, think big here, between $5,000 and $7,000 for the program. And then you can have those options for the one-on-one coaching. I bring my prices to what I do, I forgot to write this actually, you guys. When I offer one-on-one coaching in the workplace, I offer it by 30-minute slots rather than 1-hour slots. And sometimes the employer pays, sometimes the employee, but the employer would rather give the 30 minutes off and the employee pays so that they actually meet their goals, because people adhere to their goals better when they pay themselves. But you can think about that. Can I propose 30-minute to the workplace? It's easier for people to do 30 minutes than 60 minutes very, very often. Think 3-month, 6-month, 12-month programs, and interesting, on-site and online are basically the same price. We have different constraints. The one thing you might add to on-site pricing is your travel expenses, again, to be negotiated with the company. So on pricing, I am just going to start there. I'm going to stop there. What questions are bubbling up for you all?
I have a question.
Go for it, Sotiris.
So are you adjusting your pricing since you are working with many countries, right? Are you adjusting based on the country you are working? And if so, no. Okay.
No, I'm not. It's incredible. I'm so surprised. In Brazil, coaches make more than they make in Switzerland. I am so surprised, Sotiris. And you'll see when you look at that study that I talked about, I'm just going to click back to it so you guys can see it. That first study, sorry, oops, I wanted to go this way, the first study, which is right, that first pricing study there, you'll see it's a global study. The Americas a little bit more than Europe, but barely. It's really not significant. And I found that some of the countries, what's happened, Sotiris, some of the countries that are less developed in coaching and especially well-being, they will pay a premium because they need your education desperately. Whereas if you go to the UK, where health coaches are a dime a dozen, it's harder to charge that price because you have more competition. So it's a very valid question you've just asked. Very valid. Are you surprised?
Yes, I am.
Who else has had experience here? Ellen?
Yeah, I don't know if my experience will help anyone, but I'm happy to share. So I'm in Canada, and when I decided that my practice is going to be international, I consulted with the team, marketing team, business team, legal team, and it was really clear, like I need to change, my prices need to be in US dollars. So that was the guidance that was given to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that helps.
It's really helpful. And it's funny because I was thinking of that myself recently, because my current website, I'm rebranding, it's written in Swiss francs. There's something charming about Swiss francs, but when people have to calculate, it's not very useful. So I think it is worth thinking about putting it in dollars. And a lot of us on this call, most of us actually are not in the US. So it's definitely worth thinking about.
I was just going to add, I haven't had a ton of this, but I had a client in India. And so I just looked at the exchange rate, how big it was between the US and India. And then I talked to a couple of friends in India. And I just said, you know, what do you think I should do with my rates? Because I don't want to just assume people can pay. And these are not corporate clients, these are individuals. I don't want to assume the individual can afford my US rate because of the big exchange rate. And so they gave me some guidance, but you know, so I did adjust my pricing lower.
You did. That was my question. Okay.
I just made a US price that was more realistic because of that big exchange rate between the US and India. And then I had another prospective client, individual again, who was coming out of South Africa. And so I did the same thing. I just looked to see how big is that exchange rate. And I just made a decision that for me, if it's an individual client and the exchange rate's very large between the US and their location, that I'm willing to adjust my fee a bit.
Mhm. The thing is, it's not just the exchange rate, it's the worth. Because you can have a big exchange rate, but if people's salaries are corresponding to that, it's really it's the equivalent. But I think it's super interesting what you said is that you inform yourself with local people. Madhavi, I'd love to hear from you on this one.
Yeah, that exchange rate is there. There is a lot of difference in the dollar to rupee exchange rate. So what Kathy was saying was actually right, that there is a difference and we need to look at that and then charge. But again, there are people who are ready to pay. There are people who are ready. It depends on on which income group you are addressing. And also, if it comes to corporate clients, I've had this question also that if it is the employer who is paying, then the clients are more open to attending, the employees are more open to attending because it's not hitting their pocket. But then when it is the employee paying, I have faced this issue that they don't want to put it out of their pocket and they are
Absolutely.
So that is an issue which I constantly face, and how do I overcome that is one thing. And I had another question, but this is the first.
But please do ask your question. I'm very interested, and then I will rebound on that as well.
Yeah. So how do you handle this thing of where the it is better if the employer pays in the situation that I am in, so that the employee is free to access and use my services. And when it comes to the employee, it is difficult to convince them because they have that mental block that if the employer pays, it's better.
Yeah, I understand. And as a rule, when we pay ourselves, we adhere better because you've invested in something. I think there are a couple of solutions here. One of the things is talking to the employer. For example, I have one employer that will only pay after the client has attended 4 coaching sessions.
Okay.
So you can actually create a deal with that. Another thing, Kathy, and just to say, let's just say that Kathy or Antonella, your rate is $300 an hour. Let's just say that's your rate. And yet you have some people in India that want to work with you. You can also be creative with your solutions and say, look, I will be doing $300 an hour, but I'm very happy if you come as a duo or as a trio. Come 3 people. Okay, so you can actually do that sort of semi-group, but a very, very small group of friends, girlfriends or couples or something like that. So you can think about working your rates. Think clearly about the niche you want. And are you addressing that niche at the right price? The other thing you can do, remember earlier I talked about offering your time and your service. That's one of the things you can remove to justify charging less. You're not available on the phone. You're not available for red light calls. Also because it's maybe the middle of the night for you. So those clients pay less, but they get a bit less of that service. So think about how you can have packages that accommodate the lower price. Does that make sense? You can add and subtract bits and pieces so that you're not discounting yourself. Ellen, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's really that creativity out of the box, and I think to Kathy's point, like it's just having that one-on-one with where the request is coming from and getting an understanding. For me, one way, because I've already thought of that, like it doesn't sit well with me, because there's a big discrepancy with Canada and US right now for our discount. So for me, what I do is I'm like, okay, I'll deal with those situations with a discount code on my site. So I created a discount code, and then, so it has to sit well with me too. And so it's great to take the advice, from the business team, but then I have to be okay with it too. So I think for me, it just helps to really understand their situation and make sure that it's a win-win for everyone.
Totally.
Can I say,
Antonella.
yeah, I'm sorry, actually, excuse me, I was late, sorry to
No problem. Krishna.
I think that as a health coach, it depends who you want to be, your identity. If you're a brand, Apple costs the same everywhere in the world, and McKinsey costs the same everywhere in the world.
And people pay for it.
People pay for it. If they want Apple in India, hey, they have to pay. Now, I'm not at all the Apple of McKinsey of the situation, by all means, but I think that you shouldn't discount yourself as an individual, as a brand. You should find maybe side arrangements or any other agreement that depends on the situation, the customer. If it's a one-to-one, is an individual customer, okay, whatever. But if you really want to work with companies, for instance, I think we should think about ourselves as brands. First of all, the world is global. We want to be global brands. I can see people from everywhere in the world there. So it's not about discounting according to the exchange rate. It's about accommodating the client as much as we can. If we can't, if you can't afford McKinsey, you don't go for McKinsey. I mean, that's my commercial view.
I agree with you. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to put numbers here so that you all have a target. And again, it might be the low side of the target, it might be the middle, it might be the top. And to defend these prices and everything, the slides before and the reports and studies can help you. So we can come back to talk about this. I'll be talking about a little bit more pricing. Let's move on so we can get into more of our content for today. I did want to show you all quickly the disclaimer. Let me just see what order I want to do this one. Yeah, let's look at this quick. Let's look quickly at the disclaimer that I've written in terms of, no, actually, I'm going to come back to this. I think it's more useful right now that I actually show you guys the proposals. Let's look at the proposals. So these are where you will be able to walk away with. So the first proposal I'm going to pull up is the proposal template for the signature program in Word. Okay, can you all see my screen okay? Everybody see my screen okay? We're good. Okay, so this is what the proposal looks like. It is a Word document, and I've put in red the parts so you can like put that on 2 pages, multiple pages, and then I can make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so what I've done is I've made the proposal for you. You would put your logo and your company name, and we've got the appendix and the bio. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can actually see what we're looking at here. Page 1, this is offering the whole signature program, week 1, week 2, week 3. Afterward, we'll talk about options, how you can cut it up, but this is kind of the standard base. We start with the context. Clearly, I talk about stress because it's all about stress management. We give a description, and basically, these sessions aim to open the conversation among colleagues to help improve their capacity to cope with stress, build immunity, focus on nutrition, body movement, sleep, and personal alignment for resilience. That's what we've done over the past 3 weeks. So that's a little context. We give a full description of the 3 highly interactive sessions, who the sessions would be aimed for, the objectives and takeaway of all of the 3 themed sessions, session 1, session 2, session 3, overall benefits of the program, the investment, and clearly you would put your own payment terms there. Again, I put 3 60-minute awareness sessions, but we'll look at options for delivery that you would change according to how you decide to deliver the programs. A cancellation policy. How many of you have a cancellation policy on your current contracts? Good, Ellen. Yeah, good, Kathy. A lot of people forget to put that. Really important if you're working with corporations. Oops, dates and time to be determined. Oops, determined. Okay. And at the end, a conclusion with their name, confidentiality, signatures. This is where you would put your bio and perhaps any links to your LinkedIn, to your website, things like that, and testimonials from past participants if you have any. Okay, so that is the Word proposal. And again, I'm not going to go through the details of it. We'll look now at the PowerPoint version of the same thing. So it's much shorter, and you can decide, depending on your client, what kind of proposal you'd like to do for them. The proposal template in PowerPoint And again, I will be giving it to you in PowerPoint form, so you can change it as you wish. This is, all the pictures are free pictures. You can use them or you can use your own. So it's a workplace well-being proposal, stress management signature program, nutrition, activity, sleep, alignment, resilience. You all know that. The proposal has 6 sections: workplace well-being context, the stress mental health issue, signature program solution, investment, conclusion, coach bio, and testimonials. I'm not going through this, but this is the context, the workplace well-being context. All of these statistics and figures you will find in the notes of each slide, the links that they come from, okay? So the workplace well-being context, stress mental health challenge today, stress mental health challenge. You can see where the statistics come from here: Gallup, Deloitte, OSHA, Oxford. So we're contextualizing this for our client, why they need it, the return on investment of workplace wellness. Again, all the figures. Pick what you want of this. Maybe you only want one of these slides. Maybe you want to use all of them. It depends on where your client is at. The signature program solution, 3 highly interactive group sessions, or 6 or 12, or however you want to deliver it. Again, the themes, what we're doing, how we run it, bullet points, the 3 themes at a glance: session 1, session 2, session 3. Same thing. I don't have to go any more details. I know you guys know this. The benefits, the investment, the conclusion with your logo, your name, your email, and your website. You would clearly want to brand this for yourself. And then you would end it with your bio. I put mine in here, and you'll see why later. I'll be giving this one to you. And testimonials from past clients. Super simple, super easy. Up until that point, we've just seen the proposals for the 3 past sessions that we had together. Do you guys have any questions there? And do you think that that will be useful for you to start with?
Very useful. That's and just the price range that you gave earlier, that too is like, it's always great to have a benchmark in those studies. So to me, that's very valuable. And I'm super curious, like from your perspective and anyone else on their call, what are people more gravitated towards with getting the PowerPoint or the Word document? Was that 5 pages, it looked like?
Let's go back and let's see. I think it's about 5 pages. It's funny because I've recently had more and more clients wanting it on PowerPoint, corporate clients wanting it short. Yeah, I think it's about 5. I think it's about 5 pages. Let's see.
I'm just trying to get
the bio and all that. With the bio and all that, it's a bit longer, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. You see, that's what it looks like.
6 pages. Yeah.
Well, yeah, with the bio and everything, and the front page is just a cover page.
Yeah. Okay. If you're wearing your CEO hat, what would people prefer? What would be more appealing? To me, I'm more attracted to PowerPoint.
During COVID, it was PowerPoint. COVID, it was PowerPoint. But once you guys get known, I mean, clients, this is the only thing that interests them really is that last page, right? With the payment terms and signature. The advantage to this, you see what I did, you guys? I've made this my contract as well. Because you see on the last page, it's conclusion with the signatures. Yeah, which I don't usually do on a PowerPoint.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's got advantages and disadvantages. And I basically took the material from this Word document and I plugged it into the PowerPoint. Okay, so it's the same material. I went further in that one because I gave more the business case, which we'll look at in a minute with the context and the statistics and all that. Because I was like in presentation mode. During COVID, I had more people asking for PowerPoints because we were online.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense, yeah.
How about the rest of you?
When I was in financial services, I onboarded consultants and things for different purposes. And I would say that the expectation would have been that there was a PowerPoint to present to somebody in senior management and get their buy-in and then say, yes, I'm going to pay for that. And then this Word document that's also the contract would absolutely be necessary to go through a vendor management process.
Totally.
But they wouldn't want to see the PowerPoint.
Exactly. It's why I wanted to provide you with both. What are you thinking, Madhavi?
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask, the thing is, when it comes to PowerPoint, we will be giving a presentation, but many times we don't get that opportunity to give the presentation. They just want a contract like this or something like this, which they want to go through and they'll get back. So does that help? Like, which is better? I really want to understand because
yeah, I really like to I do both. I very, 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 very often do both. And what I would encourage you all to do is, you know, answer your client. I would love to write you a proposal. You have a meeting with them to talk about the proposal. And then you say, can we bring the senior leaders in? Can I present the proposal to you on a PowerPoint? You get buy-in, and then you're much more likely to get this signed. This will be the follow-up. And of course, you offer that free of charge. That's and imagine, that's why I put those statistics in that PowerPoint, because then they walk away with gained knowledge, and you've just gotten, you say, hey, HR, I've just written you this proposal. Why don't you bring in all your senior managers and we'll walk through the PowerPoint. Then you'll get buy-in and you're more likely to have them want to adhere to the program and send you their people. So doing both, it actually makes you look better. It makes you look more knowledgeable. You're giving them more.
So like you can give the presentation, at the end of that, you can give them this thing where they sign and it is
exactly.
deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And clearly what you could also do, this is for everybody, you could use that PowerPoint before they even call you in. Hey, John, look, I've got this new program available. I'd love to show you and your leaders what it's all about. And if you like it, behind it, I can write you a proposal. Perfect. You've got the business case, you see the three things, you see the benefits, and then you say, and at the end you have a discussion and they say they're interested or they're not interested. Oh, we're interested, but we only want it for, I don't know, I'm going to say whatever, pregnant women. I say, okay. And then you adapt this proposal for pregnant women and you send it back to them. But it's a way of you as well gaining in notoriety. And you've got, it's ready to roll. So you can go in at any time and deliver this as an awareness and hopefully get their buy-in. Go for it, Sotiris, please.
Yeah, so having a 1 or 2 minute pitch would be a good idea as like an intro to do what we are saying right now, like send a presentation or the Word document. So I think it's really important to have a 1 or 2 minute pitch.
I agree. Let's go toward that. So let me just close these two guys out. I wanted to show you the individual coaching template, and then we're going to look at options. And when we look at options, Sotiris, we're going to talk about that pitch, because that's super important. So the individual coaching, again, this is, and you'll all be walking away with this today. Let me see how many pages this one is. It's pretty much the same. So what we've done here is I've created something, again, I find this super useful. I love to share this with you guys. Okay, so again, you've got the front, proposal for individual health and wellness coaching for your employees. So this is going to the company, your logo, individual health and wellness coaching, why, evidence, what we do, what they provide and what you provide, your logo, your special corporate rate, and then conclusion and the contract, and then your bio. And then this is information for employees. So they can actually send this information to their employees to say, this is what we want to offer you guys. Are you interested? You've already cooked this up for them. They don't have to create it. And this was something I created during the pandemic. The global pandemic has got us working under new and different emotional circuits, blah, 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 blah. Surfing the virtual world. What are the benefits? This might be the most life-changing decision you've ever made. You see, so it's really giving them a reason for health and wellness coaching. Okay, so that is the individual coaching option. The next thing I wanted to share with you guys before we start looking at options and pitches and what do we do next is the workplace business case. Okay, so Hélène, you actually already have this, most of this at least. This was created, I don't think you were, were you on our last ICF session, Sotiris?
For health and wellness.
Which one?
The ICF Health and Wellness Coaching Community of Practice quarterly?
Oh, no, I wasn't, but I think it's recorded, right? I could.
It's recorded, and
yeah.
I think, Antonella, I think you were there. So some of these slides might be familiar. Rafael, I'm not sure about that. Okay, so let's look at this. Health and wellness coaching in the workplace, trends and business case. Again, my friends, take what you want from this. This is a full slide deck that you can go to create your pitch. You can do this as a free session. You can do this at a webinar. You can do this at a seminar, at a conference like Ellen was talking about. Get yourself known. So what we're going to look at is what is a workplace, employee well-being statistics, delivery options, your business case for workplace health and wellness coaching, Q&A resources. So a workplace is a place where people work. This is not just corporate. Employee well-being, these are the same statistics as we had in the last PowerPoint. I took them from here. Employee well-being trends, diversity, equity, inclusion, mental health. However, most employers fall short of a comprehensive well-being program, including health and wellness coaching. Madhavi, you're going to find this super, super interesting because it really goes from just workplace wellness down to what you're offering. So why wellness coaching? We quote a peer-reviewed study here saying that health coaches have not been clearly defined in the workplace. So it's up to us to do this in our pitch, Sotiris, as you said. What does a health and wellness coach do for employees? What are the delivery options? An independent coach, internal coach, external providers, in person, on the phone, online, with technology, combined, one-on-one, in groups. Your business case, diversity, equity, and inclusion, really important. This is a buzzword today in the workplace. The challenge is a diverse group of people, and the solution, health coaching, is holistic and meets people where they are. Plus, we were talking about this last time, Nicole, the isolation and loneliness of people being alone. Health coaching helps them get over that, helps them get over it. Your business case for health, wellness, and medical coaching, the evidence is all here, all click-throughs. Your business case for health, wellness, and medical coaching, meeting employees where they're at. This is the results, the benefits in the workplace. And full articles, again, that they can link to, and a white paper for workplace well-being. Voila, that is the workplace well-being business case. Again, you can pull out any of those pieces to either create a keynote or to defend your proposal. Up until that point, before we start looking at how we can cut and slice all this information and run with it. Questions, thoughts, comments?
One idea for me came to mind when I was looking at the Word document for the one-on-one coaching. I thought perfect. And I think most of us may do this. I'm starting to use YouTube more and more. And it's how I'll educate my clients on the coaching process. And so I'll just do a quick YouTube. I do it unlisted. So it's not out there completely. And it's something I could easily attach as a hyperlink to that last letter.
Great idea.
Right. And then so someone could read it, or they could, visually see me, get a sense if right away, if that might be a good fit, and you can start educating on that coaching process. I thought I already have that easy to just do a hyperlink on that page.
Fantastic idea. Fantastic idea. Because what we've noticed, and this is especially the case in Europe, for those of you that are in Europe, people don't know what health and wellness coaching is. I'm in the middle of research for that right now. They don't know. So it's up to us to actually use this as an opportunity to educate them.
Yeah. So yeah, it's lots of great. Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of, as you say, take it the pieces that you need for it. Like, I think each proposal will be unique. Each client is unique, and it's a great toolbox to get us going.
It is. That's exactly what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to give you a toolbox, but I want you to be able to run with it and don't be overwhelmed with it, because the work has been done. Now it's just a question of picking and choosing what matters to you and what's pertinent to you. All of the figures in the statistics, they're global. They're not local figures, they're global figures. They're Gallup, they're World Economic Forum, they're McKinsey, things like that. So you can all rely on those and just click through to get your resources. Any other questions on sort of the templates that I'm going to be sharing with you?
Yeah, so workplace, the presentation that you just shared.
Yes.
So we share that along with the proposal when we are giving the presentation.
I usually, you could. What I did, Madhavi, you might have noticed, I took in the proposal PowerPoint, there are three separate things basically, but in the proposal, two separate things. In the proposal PowerPoint, I took myself 3 slides that I thought would be great from the workplace wellness one, and I added them to that proposal. But they could each stand alone. But because I don't talk about the signature program in the workplace wellness. That's really, you're just raising awareness about workplace wellness and coaching in the workplace. The other one, you're actually proposing a program. So again, you can pick and change those slides as you wish. I find it useful when I'm delivering a proposal by PowerPoint to bring it into a context and to make them feel like they don't have the option not to do it. They need to do it. But I have to say that the workplace coaching presentation, and Antonella, actually, you also saw it when we did the UK HCA presentation. Everybody wants to see what health coaches are doing in the workplace. They don't know. They don't know the context. So it's something that you can use for a professional women's organization or for anybody to get, why are we bringing health and wellness coaches into the workplace? Rafaela.
Yeah, sharing a quick feedback. First of all, thanks a lot, Ellen. This is much
You're
valuable.
welcome.
Indeed, a question in terms of speaking partner from the corporate side. From your experience, who is most sensitive to the topic as entry point in the corporate? That, of course, will create the referral across other executive. I'm thinking about, is the HR or directly of the executive who has the budget and therefore they want to enhance the performance of their team. So to your experience, what are your thoughts?
It's an excellent question. Let me answer that. So usually the people that connect with me as a health coach, it's usually human resources. It's usually HR for the most part. However, and that's why I came to this slide of delivery options, the best way to work in the workplace is to suggest that they individually coach the leadership team first. Before they roll out any group programs, any random little bits and pieces, that we get the leadership team well. Some of you might have read an article I wrote last week called Walk the Talk, because if the leadership doesn't have the buy-in and they're not doing it, they're not living a healthy lifestyle, they're not showing a healthy lifestyle, they're sending emails all weekend, they're burning out every week, the message is false. So usually the person in front of us is HR, but I always like to propose that we start with 4 or 6 weeks of individual coaching for the C-suite first, for the leadership team. And once I even did that pro bono, because I was so convinced that after it was very short. I think I did 4 weeks each for 3 people. And I was so convinced that they were going to be convinced, and they were convinced the rest of the organization, and it worked exactly as I planned. It was a very, very large organization, and I stayed for years. I coached them over 8 years, group sessions. So your question is excellent. It's usually HR. If it's a small department, I would always ask to bring in higher levels up. That's the advantage of having a PowerPoint. I've created a proposal. I'd love to show a PowerPoint. Can you bring in some colleagues and your superiors? Let's have this conversation. And the PowerPoint is the base of the conversation, which is why, Madhavi, I add those slides of statistics so they see it, they get it. Because it's often a lone ranger, that wants to do something for their department, but you can offer them much, much more. So it's a really good question. And as you market, think of who you're marketing to. You always want to market as high up as possible to be able to get the I'm sure you've seen that, Kathy. Once you coach the boss will recommend you to their employees, either in a group program or an individual program. The most common I have had is I've coached the C-suite, the executives, and then they ask me to roll it out in group programs for their people.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
Creating awareness, and once they experience their transformation on their side, they become the best change agent in the organization, the best spouse.
Exactly.
Which is the foundation for any transformation and change within corporate. That's
exactly.
Very familiar to me, the environment I'm coming from.
And that's with any kind of coaching, by the way.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, what I wanted to share with you before I share this slide is the disclosure that I've created for the disclaimer that I've created for the materials, not just for the materials I have today, but this, I also wanted to share it with all of you. When I give you the materials, the presentation, let's just read through this. I want to share it with you so you all are very comfortable with it, and I'm comfortable with it. So the presentation slides handed over to each coach who's attended the WhealthyU live training. They're designed to support trained coaches to create and deploy their programs, coaching, events, and marketing. I just want to run through the do's and don'ts. So the do's: use a fair use disclaimer, such as I do not own this content. All credits go to its rightful owner. That's if you use the WhealthyU, the PowerPoints from the last 3 weeks, if you decide to acquire them. Use these materials to raise awareness with your clients, your corporations, your organizations, your community. Do omit information you do not need. Do share on social media and your website. Do add your own flavor, your logo, your language, Madhavi, whatever you've got that you want to add to that. Refer to me if anything is unclear or for further information. Note that this presentation may not include all the relevant facts or most up-to-date research at the time of your presentation. If you do this in 8 months, some things might have shifted. Wealthness is not liable if omissions or errors occur after the publication. Update us if you have relevant additions or modifications. And don't remove the WhealthyU copyright references or authors if you're using them. Don't change any of the data or statistics that are provided at that date. And don't reproduce any part of the presentation as your own without referencing the owner. And don't give it away to other coaches. Now, that is not for the stuff for today. The stuff I'm giving you today, you can do whatever you want with. It's yours. That's not a problem. I don't have any ownership on that. This disclaimer, and I'm also sharing it with you in case you ever share stuff with other people. This is for the WhealthyU, the PowerPoints from the last 3 weeks, if you decide to take that, okay? I think this is very fair. It makes sense. And this is the way I will be going forward with this in the future. But for today's materials, it's just all yours. You don't have to worry about any of this. Any questions on that? Was that clear?
I think, Helen, for me, one thing that comes up, like probably the way I would do it, let's say I'm doing one in a year from now, like don't change any of the data. So let's say I've got a newer research, and
Yeah, I was thinking
probably, I think, email you and say,
Yeah,
here's what I think of changing.
yeah,
Right.
that'd be
I
great.
think that would be my approach, because it's
Yeah,
hard with data. It just
Yeah,
changes so
yeah.
much. But yeah, I think it's absolutely fair.
Yeah,
Your
because the
IP.
thing with data is, I wouldn't want you to change the data and then say it belongs to me and it's wrong. That's the issue with changing the data. You all understand that, right? I am behind all the data that I put there. If you change the data, maybe I should even change that phrase to, if you change the data, it's under your own responsibility, not mine.
Yeah.
That's what it should actually read. I think that's better.
Because
I'm
you
glad
might
you brought that up.
That, yeah.
Right? That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
Do you need to clarify for pictures?
Pictures, as I've said, all of the pictures are free. I would ask people not to change them. I mean, except for free content, basically. I think I did put that somewhere.
And
I don't
think
have it on the disclosure.
Important piece for people that purchase the product to know, because it's like it's becoming such a thing.
Yes,
now.
I've put it on every slide, the source of the picture. I put it slide by slide, but you're right. It would be good to have that on the disclaimer. If you choose, you know, if you do change the pictures to your local, like we did with Saudi Arabia, change the pictures, but ensure that they are freely offered on the internet. That makes sense. Kathy?
Oh, I'm getting my goodbye hugs.
Just a question about coloring. So like obviously with WealthyU having dark green, and then this slide has like the light green border. That border kind of color, if that doesn't coordinate with our logo,
you can completely change it. Change it all.
Okay.
You know what? This is one of the things that I did.
WealthyU portion.
Yeah, and you don't even have to worry about the WealthyU portion is only on those three content slides from the last couple of weeks. On the ones you've seen today, there really isn't any. What I did is I created these slides in PowerPoint Designer. Did you find the slides pleasant to look at, the way they were designed, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. But you guys can just use the same designer and just design your own slides. Just and you choose a theme. So you can absolutely change the theme in the slides. I did the gray and green, go with orange and red. I did Century Gothic font, use your font. That's not a problem at all. At all.
Yeah.
That's super easy to do.
And I think for the pictures piece, because what I'm discovering is not everyone knows how to get those free images, and then they might get in trouble. So that I think that's just a tip, or when they purchase the package, like quick instructions. Here's how you, if you're replacing an image, here's how you do it. I even went to a trainer's training on, and I was given misinformation. And it can just, it sounds like such a small thing, but it would just be unfortunate if someone
exactly.
You know, it's like your worst case scenario, but
exactly. Hanaya, do you have anything to add in terms of, you know, sort of PowerPoint content, any tidbits for anybody?
I mean, well, the social media, obviously it has to, like I always tell Dominic and Helen, it has to show you, not most of it, most of the times, because people love to see that there's a person like there, and not, that's why kind of like personal accounts are more successful than like companies' accounts at times.
Especially for coaches.
Yeah, for coaches. I mean, you're selling yourself basically and your services. So it's really important to show your face. Also, like in the profile picture, the more pictures you have of yourself, the better, I would say. And the more personal stuff that you share, the better as well. So people can kind of engage with your content and kind of like feel that you're actually a person, and that you have your good days, your bad days, kind of like a mini blog, I would say, also like sharing good information, but also kind of like, you know, showing that you're a real person in the end, that you're not perfect either. That's not too good, because that's not true. I mean, we're not, everyone is imperfect. So, so we don't have to be scared sometimes of like thinking, oh, what are they going to think about this or that?
Yeah, I think it's super valid, you know, resonating with your audience. Super valid.
Yeah, for sure. And what else? Well, like Ellen said, a blog would be a really good idea. I think like to bring education to people, and to, if people want to learn more about, like things that you provide and stuff. We usually use like the captions for social media, not so much text, more like short, you know, information. And then if they want to learn more, they can always go to your website or to your blog, or but that would be the first step to draw attention and to engage. And then people, if they want to know more, they're gonna research your website or your blog. What else can I say about that? Great advice. Good, a good bio. Well, this, I'm not an expert. It's actually Erin more like for the. But
actually, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the bio. Yeah. That's really important. So let's talk about delivery options and then getting out there and actually doing this. So as you had pointed out early, Kathy, you can just create awareness sessions. You can do an awareness session on one theme, sleep. Let's talk about sleep. You take 3 or 4 slides from that sleep deck last week or the purpose deck. I once did an awareness session. We only did drivers and drainers and values. And then they did a team. They did a team commitment. They had buddies and they went on with it. And then behind it, I was able to propose the full program. So any of the materials that we've looked at over the past 3 weeks can be broken down into mini bits and pieces. You could do, you know, just talk about drinks or sugar, like week 1 with the nutrition. You could talk about physical activity. You could talk about sleep. You could talk about strengths or values or gratitude. Any one of the things that we talked about, pull out 4 or 5 slides, take out 2 pages from the client workbook and make a mini package of it. And that's what we call an awareness session. And the call to action, as Kathy said earlier, is almost always one-on-one coaching, and have that proposal ready to show. You might even end the session with that list of 5 benefits of one-on-one coaching, right? Oh, and you want to learn more, this really interested you. Well, maybe, you know, one-on-one coaching, life coaching is what you want. We've gone through gratitude today, but there's a lot more to discover. These are the benefits. Sign up for a 20-minute free call with me. That's a really easy way for you guys to work with the materials from the last 3 weeks. You could do all 3 in one day and do a half-day workshop and have breakout sessions. You could be live, you could be on a retreat. We could be, Rafaela, I don't know, somewhere like La Réserve and do this together and do a half-day workshop and invite people to do an offsite from the office and do all 4. And you start with nutrition and you end with resilience. You've got a whole day there. You could do it in weekly workshops. I have done this. The most successful that I found, and this is my audience, in the workplace, it was 6 weeks, 1 hour. I also did it 8 weeks, 1 hour, but they found it was almost too long to engage. They thought the 6 weeks worked for people. 8 weeks felt long. And that was 1 hour around lunchtime. It was 1 o'clock, I think, 1 to 2 or something like that. And I think I did nutrition 2 weeks. Let me just tell you guys, nutrition 2 weeks. Physical activity 1 week, sleep 1 week. Then we did the values, strengths, and then we brought it all together with resilience, alignment, and commitments. And at that point, I also offered one-on-one for people that wanted to go further and work with me one-on-one. That was a group program. Okay. You can also use all of the materials, any of the slides we've looked at, any of them, as one-on-one handouts. Let's just say, Soteris, that you go to a conference that's taking place in Athens for all the head of HR for the big companies in Greece. You put together, you take like 5 of the slides from the workplace wellness and health and wellness coaching, and then you make a slide with your your LinkedIn and your email address. And you give it to them. You say, hey, do you guys have the business case for your bosses, like workplace wellness? Don't worry, I've got it for you. Here's your business case. Talk to your bosses about it. Once they're on board, give me a call. It's so useful for them. You've crunched the numbers. They don't have to go look it up and like go to their boss. You make them look really smart. You make them look really smart because they walk in with the glossy to their boss. They say, wow, I got this stuff, workplace wellness is really important and health coaching is the way to do it. Look, we should be doing group programs. Everybody else is doing it. It's really useful. Again, as you familiarize yourself with the slide decks and where the data is coming from, it's a great way to use it in one-on-one handouts. Or if you only do individual coaching and the person wants to talk to you about wine this week, drinking wine, remember our wine slides? You take the slides with the mammoth and the elephant and the wine and the water and the coffee, and then a page from the handouts, you put it together and you give it to your individual client after your session. Are you all following me? Am I going too fast?
Great idea. Yeah.
You're getting
Cool.
a lot of information.
Okay, yeah, I know it's a lot. The other thing, and this came up thanks to Ellen, is actually to team up with me. I didn't think of this before. I'm like you guys, I'm a coach too, but maybe this is not your jive yet. I can come in and do the awareness session and you guys do the one-on-one coaching. I don't need more one-on-one coaching sessions. You say, hey, I've got a fabulous expert. She's going to come in. She's going to do a 1-hour awareness session on nutrition, activity, and sleep and resilience. And 1 hour, she's going to get everybody inspired. And then at the end, the call to action, because they want to speak in Greek or in Italian or in Spanish. And you're better at doing that one-on-one work. But we can work as a team. I can do the awareness session, or I can help you negotiate the contract, and then you run the contract. We're all working globally now. So that's another option. That's why I left my bio in that slide deck, because I thought of it. I thought, well, first of all, you'll see the way my bio is set up, so you can maybe do yours similar. You may want to do the same kind of thing, but don't hesitate. You can also use me as a resource. I'm very happy to do that. And of course, all client meetings are cost-free. Of course they are. Of course they are. When you're meeting with clients, you're negotiating, discussing. Or if you want me to come in on the call with you to help you write the proposal and come up with the ideas on that. Okay? I think that's really useful for us all, for me too, of course, because it gives me a little bit more exposure. All right, so options. As of today, all of you, of course, anytime you've got a 20-minute free call with me. I'm laughing, Hannah, because Hannah and Ellen too, because we speak often, a lot. But anytime, reach out. If you're thinking you want to go forward with this, you kind of don't know where to start, or you want to take bits and pieces, set up a call with me. We'll just chat about it. As you know, I created WhealthyU. Thanks to the ICF Business Development Series, which I was an active part of. And I launched this live. It was not a huge intention. I was going to launch it in the fall, but I had the opportunity to do it now. So I wanted to do it now. So what I've done is I've created a price. Pricing is the hardest thing we do, all of us, of basically $400 for all the slide decks. And that's where I ask you to have that disclaimer. And I would also really appreciate any testimonials, written and or video, to support me when I do the big launch in the fall. If you team up with me for coaching, my normal coaching rates are, why did I put 4 hours? Oh yeah, that's the normal coaching rates for one-on-one. Okay, that's my normal one-on-one coaching rates. And you can use those a la carte if you want. So I would have, if you guys want to work with me as a coach, I give you my normal coaching rates in the future. The only other thing I wanted to ask you guys, was, first of all, well, let's just have some feedback here in terms of options. Let's explore the options and see where you're at. Who's actually interested in acquiring the slide decks from the past weeks and using that program going forward? And how does this feel to you? How does this all land with you? Please speak up.
Well, I already have a meeting lined up next week with an organization I've been working with for a really long time. I think where I'm going to need to brainstorm is how to merge the coaching training that I offer, because a lot of people also want that. And then this will be sort of like an add-on. So yes for that. I think for your previous question was the delivery options, like other ideas.
Other ideas and the pitch we talked about, Soteris.
Yeah, so I think for me, I'm wondering like if you're considering creating like a WhealthyU community, because I'd be in the position where I would love to present the content, but I won't have time. It's not my niche to do the one-on-one. And so it's almost like an opportunity for referrals, but I wouldn't want to refer. I'd be very selective who I refer.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
And so you've got the ideal community for who I could refer and team up with.
Clearly that is my intention. My intention for this is our soft launch. My intention for the launch is to create a community. And then we have a certain number of coaches I will onboard and then offboard and make sure that we stay aligned. They've got a certain number of coaching sessions with me. That will not be at $400. And that's a question I'm going to ask for you guys afterward, because once you've got this program, you can deliver it as many times as you wish. But I wanted to use this as well as a forum to exchange thoughts on ways of going forward with this and creating that community, because we do have a lot of coaches out there that will greatly benefit. And a bit like you, Madhavi, they've maybe touched a little bit in, oh, that looks like good food, yummy, good Indian food. It looks, now I lost my train of thought because I love Indian food. You see that? What I was going to say is, breaking the barrier to actually get into the workplace. How do we have that pitch? How do we get into the workplace? We've got the materials, but like, what's the next step? Does this make you feel a little bit more confident in creating that pitch or in walking forward with this? That's kind of my question for a little bit for everybody here.
Yeah, to me for the fall, what I would do is I would just embed it in there. You can bump your cost, but you need to be included, in my opinion, for a good hour one-on-one, in my opinion.
1 hour, yeah, I think so.
A lot, and you're the expert in the content. And how amazing would it be that you get the one-on-one built in? It's, you've already paid for it, and then you support them to get going with that very first one. And already start paying for it pays for itself. Yeah.
And that's what I thought. I thought I would embed 1 hour in, but the coaches could take the hour in twice 30 minutes, 4 times 15 minutes, as they wish. They wish. That's what I thought. And I also thought, which I didn't do with this group, but I think I will do in the future, is just make sure that, especially if people are paying, because what I did, and this is a model that came as I did it, I decided to deliver the video series at no cost, so you can all benefit from that. And I think, and I'd love your feedback. I think it was, for me, it was totally worth it just to even exchange with you, to share with you, to hear from you. And then for people that actually want to walk away with the PowerPoints, then we charge the money. That may be a model that I actually keep in the future, where and I like the live because it grows. When it's live like this, I've got bits of Nicole, I've got bits of Hannah, I've got bits of Kathy and so on in each week that I've incorporated now. It only gets better. So I feel like if the sessions are live, and then at the end, even if people decide not to walk away with the PowerPoints, that's fine too. They will get what they get out of it. And the proposals and all that, I'm really happy if people can run with that. Because as well, I know that Kathy, I'll be very frank, the day that you have a client that asks you for a really powerful nutrition, activity, sleep program, you're going to go, you know what? I'll do the one-on-one, but let me get Ellen because she's really the expert in that, right? I mean, that makes sense, right? For a person.
And I think for me, having the opportunity to go through these 4 sessions for free is really critical, because I'm newer in my business, and every time I spend money, I'm really looking at the value I'm going to get out of that money, because it's an investment. And I want to make sure that I really understand what I'm buying. So going through the 4 sessions really basically sold me on buying the content. The flexibility is huge, the way to adapt it, whether it's corporate or individual. Like I've got a couple individual clients that they're coaching on something else right now, but I know they're going to move to this space as soon as they finish that topic. And so having this material to back me up, I have some other stuff like I can talk to you about when you and I meet, but this is so much more robust and so much more of a program feel than what I have. It just going through these 4 sessions, I have more confidence. I feel much more secure in making an investment.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I already told somebody else, I'm like, my God, you have got to call her like right now, you know, because I know it's in that person's wheelhouse. But they're also like, they're an even newer coach than I am. Right. And I'm like, you're never going to get a better deal than this. And oh my word, you would only need to sell this once.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. And that's why the pricing going forward is really important to me. You sell it once, even to an individual client, it's paid for itself. So, I mean, you can potentially sell it again and again and again and again. So yeah, that's really, so the future pricing is going to be important for me.
I've been kind of accumulating some questions I felt like were specific to me and not that I wanted to put everybody else through. But it's funny that Ellen brought up the point about a community, because that was on my list. Because I think to continue to improve my skill in delivering it, I want to engage with other people that deliver it, because I can hear ideas or approaches, or maybe they faced a challenge and then I'll be ready for that. Or to Ellen's point, you know, if she doesn't want to do all the one-on-one coaching, you know, if she and I got to know each other and she was comfortable with my methodology and who I am,
and vice versa,
I would, and I would love to be, you know, somebody she has as an option for a referral for the right client. And, you know, if I learn what she does, I can in turn, you know, refer people. And so it would be great to have that community.
I am so glad to hear that, because that's it's one of the intentions. It's one of the intentions. Hannah, aren't we happy to hear that? That's great. Yeah. So I'd love some more feedback here.
Yeah, another thing that's spinning in my head that I'll blur before it gets lost, because my head is going. I finished my coffee, so my brain is going. The other thing you could consider as an add-on is presenter facilitator skills. So it could be, because not everyone's one of their blocks, because it's a whole other thing to have. It's one thing to have the content, but to facilitate and to start with your openers and to, you know, like all those adult education rules to maximize the learning. It's not something we learn as coaches.
It's true. It's true. Facilitation skills.
Yeah. So it could be something that not needed right away, but it could be for some. I'd be curious to check in with the community to see if it would be of value for them and something you could do as an add-on. Because that's a
great idea. Great idea. Great idea. You gave me an idea for the community of practice in it.
I know, I'm already thinking about that too.
Yeah, right.
I was going to pitch it to you and Sherry. Yeah.
So Tiris, what would you tell me where you're at?
Actually, I think that, you know, these 4 weeks was really amazing. I wouldn't believe that I could get so much value from all this. But
really glad to hear that.
Usually free stuff, you know, gives you value, but not that much of a value.
It gives you value with like a pain in the butt, and you're like, I got stuck again.
Yeah, so, you know, I think this was really amazing what you did, and, you know, congratulations for this. The community idea is amazing. You know, that would be great if, you know, you can create something that everyone could interact with each other and try to, first of all, improve individually, but improve the industry as well.
So, totally.
So yeah, everything is, everything was really amazing, and hopefully we could move forward with more ideas like all these.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Who else would like to
one
share?
thing I just wanted to add on to, and sort of made me think of this, is that, I know you talk, Ellen, about the Mediterranean diet, and you've got nutrition info in there. And then there are going to be other people who come to this program who might be more of a vegan or vegetarian or whole food plant-based. And so some of us might have experience with that. So, for instance, I took nutritional education, but I took it through a different school because I'm a whole food plant-based eater. And so that's a different thing. And, there might be clients who want to go that way, and they would want to connect with somebody who has that. And, there could be something else where somebody who delivers this program, has physical activity kind of specialty that they could bring that benefit, and, other things that
well,
I think there's an
now that you know what's here, you can team up with other people to bring in their expertise, to do a retreat, or to do a weekend, or to do an offsite or a half day. Totally.
Yeah.
By the way, I have another session. It's a review of trendy diets, where I go through 5 popular diets, the pros, the cons, and in the end of the day, what do we do? It's kind of, the myths around various diets. It's another webinar that I give. Not part of the signature program, but it's a really good one. Nicole, Rafaela, Madavi, what are you thinking?
A big thank you. This has been extremely valuable. Certainly will reach out to you, Ellen. Right now I need to sign out because I have another meeting, but I want to express my gratitude for this. And how long we will have access to the recording?
Oh, I'm going to leave it open forever. You're fine. You can get it whenever. And all the materials from today will be on that same platform. I'll send you all the message after today to the whole community. By the way, 31 people have joined the community, have actually listened to the videos. Some people may not be coming on the live, and that's okay too. Maybe they're not in the right time zone or whatever. So those 31 people, I'll be sending the message to everybody. And Rafaela will try to meet physically soon.
Indeed, when I will leave it, and then I will reach out to you there.
Thank you for coming today, Rafaela. Ciao. Madavi and Nicole, I'm curious to have your feedback.
Yeah, well, this is amazing. As you know, Hannah had recommended that a few of us that we were in a coaching session that just did IIN come and join. And I will say, we were a bit hesitant because, as Soto said, that, sometimes when things are free, or you like adding, like, do I have time? I mean, I really literally had 2 meetings that going on with my corporate job. But I gravitated to this because, you really, the way you packaged this was really well. It was easy to understand, completing over a year IIN, even though I thought it was a very good program, I still left on a way like, okay, so what now? I felt like sometimes I get out in my own way is, I want to do corporate coaching. I want to do, physical fitness and bring those both. I want to do travel. But where do I kind of condense it so that I won't overwhelm someone? So I just thought your presentation is awesome. I'm not sure if I'm able to do the slides right now, but I definitely will when
they're there. You all know they're there whenever you're ready, or you have a client that asks for it. Oh,
and it reignited, it reignited that I really do want to do on a corporate aspect, because, one thing I think, being new to the field, in a way you get kind of intimidated as far as, okay, maybe I'm not ready for the corporate or, government or things like that. Maybe I don't have enough expertise or experience or be able to articulate it or communicate it. And I think that you are very helpful in that, bringing out, the skills that you have that you don't really think that is necessary in order to bring to someone that they really need. But you're like, oh, that was something simple. I learned that before. I'm a veteran. And so I just think about, all of the stress, even leaving from the military and going into corporate or government, civilian sector. It's a very stressful event. And a lot of times when people, or I've noticed because I'm also have a disability, that a lot of times that people are like, I can't work at all. I don't want to be around people. I'm so stressed and things like that. So I just thought that for me, you reignited that, I could offer a service that I kind of like put on the back burner because I'm like, oh, maybe that's too big, too much for now. So thank you.
I'm so glad. You are so welcome. And thank you for all your very valid input. And Madhavi.
Yes. I really found the session informative and very much, I got a lot of information. Actually, I started off as a trainer, a fitness trainer, and then I moved on into being a wellness coach, a health coach and all. So I always felt that before I understood wellness, before I got into that, I always felt that workout is the only thing that is needed to be healthy. Everything else is taken care of. So then I started working on myself, on my emotional and my mental health, and what the whole cycle of all the things that I need to do, not just work out. And that's where I became a wellness coach. But then it was always difficult for me to understand how best can I deliver. I am delivering to people. People are benefiting, but I want to deliver more. I want to deliver better, more polished, more good information. And there was a lot of, first of all, information that you were sharing was all from this statistics and that statistics.
Exactly.
So that is what people catch.
Yes,
especially when you spoke about sleep. And you spoke about how it is affecting their productivity.
Exactly.
And how it is affecting their health and why people are resigning because of lack of sleep. It just doesn't correlate for people, but there's such a correlation, such an interlink between both of them. So those kind of things, and there were certain terminologies that you used which just caught my eye, which you need to attract the audience. And that is what happened when I was listening to your thing. Like one of them was deserts is spelled stressed in reverse.
Yes, stressed spelled backwards.
Yeah. So that really caught my eye. Like I was like, okay, this is so much detail to information. These are the things that people remember. These are the things that people take back. Not just boring lectures that you give, rather interesting stuff. Yeah, interesting things. So I got a lot of that information from this from your session, and it was really useful.
I'm really, really, really pleased. And again, I would say, next steps, we're at the end of our time. Again, I'm available. I don't have to sign off, but for the benefit of all of you, everything from today will be on the platform. You can all access it. You can download it, et cetera, et cetera. They can download right from Podia, right, Ellen? Yeah, no problem. That's what I thought. You can download them. They will not be in PDF format. They will be in Word and PowerPoint format. I suggest you take them, live them, breathe them, make them your own. If and when you decide, and we will set up a call to actually acquire the PowerPoints from week 1, week 2, and week 3, we'll set up a call and I will set you up with those personally. Those are the ones I ask you not to give away to other coaches, because that is my intellectual property. Okay, and see how you can use them, and we can discuss together, and I will include, and that will be that 400 charge that's on my website. And if you use the code VIP coach, then that would be that 400 price. Okay, but we can set up a call before you even purchase that. That's not important. That's really not the main thing. My goal was to launch. My goal is to get your feedback. So I will be asking you for a little written testimonial. If you want to make me a little video, that would be fabulous. For my next launch, I feel honored to have had you in this group, because it's been really useful for me, very beneficial for me. And I just really hope, and you know that comes from my heart, that it will be useful for all of you. And I hope you can make lots of money with this, really. Okay.
Yes, at some point we are there for that too.
Of course we are. We all have to live.
Yes.
We have to live and
Yes.
thrive. That's part of it too. And the more you earn, the more impact you can also have, the more you can give. Right? That's the bottom line too. Super important. So I want to say huge gratitude to everybody. Thank you a millionfold. And now I'm going to upload everything. I'm going to prepare you an email. And in 2 days, I'm off for Florida to the National Wellness Conference. And I will keep you all posted on everything that goes. And please set up a call with me so we can talk through your next steps. Okay?
And you
Thank you so
so we
much.
can send you a
Thank
video.
you.
Do you want us to send it if we send a video by email?
I would love it. Yeah, you can send it by WeChat or something like that. And you can just do it on your phone. It's no problem. Any
Okay.
suggestions, Hannah, you want to give anybody that does a phone video for me?
Give anyone what? Sorry?
Does a phone video, a video for me with their phone, horizontal.
Aha, yeah, you mean for the testimonial?
Yeah, testimonials, exactly.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, I'm
Do you
gonna
want it?
probably. Yeah,
You
if
want it
it's-
this way? For this
Ah, no,
Horizontal.
horizontal.
You
Yeah,
want
that
it
would
this
be
way,
great.
for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's definitely better.
Horizontal and short
Yeah.
and just, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
anything
have
you
to be-
think would be interesting.
Yeah.
Do you want it in French?
Oh,
or
that would be
English or
good.
both?
No, I think we should do it in English because if
I
it's for
think in
Wealthy
English
You,
is
people
better.
will be-
Yeah.
Yep.
So we don't have problems after.
We'll do this once in French, though. We'll do this once in French.
Yeah, we can also always do the translation, like
Of course, of course.
But yeah.
Oh, okay, my
Thank you
friends.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank
And thank you
you.
for making time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Satus. Ciao.